when we're looking at the data that's coming out today about personal expenditures and what consumers are feeling, that is driving the American economy. What do you expect to see there? I mean, we know that PCE is expected to climb by 0.3% month over month, about 2.6% year over year. But what does it say to you about where the consumer economy is heading?
Yeah, well, today, again, you know, the year over year numbers going down a little bit, which is kind of positive. But the question is what's going to happen beyond this, right? All of this tariff talk is clearly expected to be inflationary, right? So we might be at lows at this point if, in fact, some of these tariffs, go into effect. We're talking about different types of tariffs now, which can have direct impact on prices. That will definitely impact consumption, which is a big 2/3 of GDP, which could be a challenge.
And on top of that, you have the employment situation weighing on a lot of people. Probably top of the list, federal workers right now. I have had recent discussions with people who work for the agencies with the federal government, and they're very worried about their jobs. The jobless claims last week, highest that we've seen since October, and more than expected. You have a judge now telling the Trump administration that they have to rescind a memo ordering mass firing of federal workers. What does this say to you about where we're heading in terms of the job market?
Yeah, it's a real challenge. I mean, I think this week's weekly employment number was maybe just the tip of the iceberg. I think there were less than 2,000 government employees in that number. But we expect in the weeks to come, we're going to start to see those hit more. We're going to get our numbers next week, our monthly numbers next week. That probably will not factor in yet any of these mass layoffs, and we expect that to continue and be a challenge.
Are you changing your investment strategy at all because of the uncertainty?
For sure. I'd say over the next 6 months, until this sort of fog that I referred to lifts, I think if you're focusing on the next few months, I think it's going to be a rough ride. But beyond that, we're still quite positive. I mean, the numbers are looking good. But of course, all that's up in the air. We have to see what actually ultimately happens with policy.